I stood up, I grabbed her hand, and we both walked out the door to get outside so we could come back in through the door. Everyone at our table was watching us. I held her hand, I held the door open for her, and we basically walked in together. It almost blew her mind. She couldn't quite explain why, but she just said it felt perfect. You can also do what I like to call the walnut trick. All right, gentlemen, this is a video that you might find a little bit douchey, but at this point, man, I really don't care, because if I need to throw myself on the fire to help out or save at least one of you, then so be it. And also, guys, if you don't care about making a great first impression, or if you think that women are the devil, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. This video is for the guys that want solid, committed relationships with women and are tired of being single. Things are getting pretty savage out there, and I hear it from a lot of you, and I see it for myself. But the simple fact is, man, if you want to change your situation, you have to change your perspective and the way that you operate. And that's pretty much true with anything that you want to change in your life. And please understand that I don't necessarily want you to change for someone else. Making small changes to attract the love of your life is one thing, but also everything that I'm going to mention in this video will benefit you regardless, and that's what's most important, making changes that ultimately benefit you and your life. First things first, stop consuming all of those red pill, blue pill, black pill relationship type videos on social media. They're brainwash. There are so many of these video podcasts out there from both sides blaming each other for all of the problems in today's dating world. Now, some of them do make some pretty good points, but most of them are just so incredibly toxic that it's a wonder anyone's getting together at all. It's mostly just a bunch of negativity and name calling and blaming, and it's doing absolutely nothing to help your mental well-being. So shut off the noise, tune it out, and get back to the basics of turning yourself into a really impressive option that she'd be crazy to pass up. Because it's all about you, my friend, and taking charge of what you can control about yourself. You can't change other people, but you can absolutely change you. I'm going to start with some things that you can do right now before you meet anyone. Then I'm going to talk about some things you can do when you actually secure the date with someone and take her out, because I had a personal experience recently that I wanted to share with you, so stick around for that. Start with your personal presentation. And gentlemen, before you say it doesn't matter, it does. Because if you move through life with the attitude that you don't care how you look or clothes shouldn't matter, you will most likely never achieve anything better, and you won't attract the type of woman that can bring actual value into your life. The fact is this: a man's sense of style and what he wears is absolutely critical, because it signals who you are within the first 5 seconds of her seeing you. And if you're out there living your life, but also trying to attract women, it's a pretty good idea to understand some of the things they're looking for and then use that to your advantage. And having a sense of style is near the top of that list. Also, take care of your face, man. It's the only one that you have, and it's not getting any younger. I'm in my 50s, and even though I'm aging, as we all do, the skin on my face is in pretty good shape. And that's because I've been using skincare since I think I was in my mid-40s. It doesn't have to be anything stupid expensive or time consuming. Just do what I do and grab yourself some Tiege Hanley. Seriously, if this stuff didn't work for me and if I didn't believe in it, I wouldn't keep spending my own money on it every single month like I've been doing for I think the last 7 years. Now, there's a link down in the description. So my advice would be that if you're just getting started, start out with the level 1 system. You'll get the daily face wash, an exfoliating scrub that you can use twice a week, a morning moisturizer with SPF, and a nighttime moisturizer. However, if you want to level up a little bit and use the same stuff I use, get the level 3 kit. It comes with all those items I just mentioned, plus an anti-aging super serum and an eye solution to handle those wrinkles around your eyes. And if you've heard me talk about Tiege Hanley before, but you still haven't pulled the trigger, now is the time, because this December, Tiege Hanley is offering one of their biggest deals of the year exclusively for first-time subscribers. Check this out. Right now, for a limited time, you can save up to 40% off your first box today. Not only that, but they'll also give you a free gift. You can choose between this new body scrubber that you can use in the shower or this really cool manicure set that every guy needs. And when you sign up as a member, you'll continue to get 20% off for life. You can pause, cancel, or customize the different items that you want to receive at any time. So again, don't wait. This is as good as it gets. Just click that first link down below in the description to lock in one of the best deals of the year and get started on your skincare journey today. Let me circle back to attitude for just a minute. So take a close, hard look at yourself and identify how you really feel about women. If you've been poisoned by all the crap on social media, either admit that to yourself or dig a little bit deeper and find out what your actual feelings are. Because what you might find is all of the programming from social media is giving you a different perspective than what's truly yours. It's almost like misery loves company, and there's a lot of pissed off, miserable guys out there, and they want you to be pissed off and miserable too. And that way, it's not just them. They can feel more validated that way. And I know, it's a very deep rabbit hole situation, but I guess what I'm trying to say here is that if it's not how you really feel, don't fall into the trap, because living a life full of anger and vengeance won't lead you to happiness. Okay, it's story time. So I told you that I had a recent experience. So here's what happened. A few weeks ago, I took myself out to one of the local wineries here in Temecula, and I ran into a friend of mine, and he was sitting there with 3 other people who I didn't know. He came over and invited me to join their table, so of course I said yes. Now there was one other guy and there were 2 other women. Now they were all friends, and I think they were all single, and at some point we got on this topic of alpha males and manners and what's wrong with the dating scene today, and the women wanted my opinion. So I started talking about some things that I do on dates that I see most men not doing that I think are mistakes. For example, when I'm out with someone and we're approaching an establishment, I think that it's a mistake to open the door for her and let her walk in before me. I think the correct way is to grab her hand, open the door with my other hand, walk in first, and then hold the door for her so she can walk in with me or maybe just slightly behind me. Now I know it's kind of hard to explain and it gets a bit finicky, and she didn't quite understand. So I said, let me show you. I stood up, I grabbed her hand, and we both walked out the door to get outside so we could come back in through the door. So at this point, everyone at our table was watching us. So once again, I held her hand, I held the door open for her, and we basically walked in together with me just slightly ahead. We all sat back down and kind of talked about it, and it almost blew her mind. And she just said it felt perfect. She couldn't quite explain why, but she just said it felt perfect. So then the guy that I knew at the table wanted to get up and try it. So the 2 of them practiced together for a few times, and we all continued to have a pretty fun night together. But just that one single move of walking her through a door that way impressed her to the point of changing her mindset of how things should be and how different men act in certain ways, carry themselves differently, and have better manners. I get it though, right? Opening the door for her and letting her walk in first does come from a very good place. It comes from a place of wanting to care for her and being chivalrous. And that's great and everything, but technically, at least in my opinion, you should lead the way through the door. And I think that you should also lead the way to a table at a restaurant instead of having her lead the way. And for the record, it's not really that big of a deal, but if we're talking about manners and impressing her with your actions and how you operate, then it is kind of a big deal. Now, the same thing goes with opening the car door. It should go without saying that if you're on a date, you open the car door for her every single time, period. Now, something else I wanted to mention is that if you're out somewhere, you're dressed well, of course, and you're just sort of mingling, try to keep your hands out of your pockets. It kind of makes you look a little bit closed off and a little awkward. But I know, it's very comfortable, but try to find something else to do with your hands. Now, one thing you can do instead of jamming your hands all the way down inside your pockets is to just hook your thumbs in. This still keeps your hands visible. You can also do the TP thing, but this is generally better when you're sitting down. Now I'm going to demonstrate something that I do, but I'm going to hold my hands a little bit higher so you can see it on this camera. But what I generally try to do is I'll sort of hold my thumb, sort of like this, or I'll put my fingers into the palm of my hand and then sort of close my hand over the top. And you can do this sort of both sides and just sort of hold it. You can also do what I like to call the walnut trick, where you're pretending to hold a walnut in your fingers and you just sort of kind of pass it between your hands in a very slow and smooth manner, sort of like this. You can just kind of hold it here for a little bit, mess around, go back over to this side, just something to do with your hands. Now here's something else that's really impressive, and it has to do with your level of fitness. Now this might be some tough love for some of you, but the fact is most men over the age of 40 have let themselves go to the point that they're completely out of shape and bordering on obese. That's just how it's become. But if you're the guy with the discipline to take care of yourself, exercise, and keep yourself in shape, that automatically puts you in the top 1% of men in your age bracket on that initial first impression. Just think about that. Now, the new year is coming. Is this the year that you finally make it happen and get yourself in shape? It's up to you, man. How bad do you want it? I think at this point, the video is probably long enough, but if you want a part 2, please let me know in the comments and I will definitely make it happen. And if you enjoyed this video, please tap the like button and also consider subscribing if you're not already. And as always, my friends, thank you so much for watching. Live well, and I'll see you in the next one.